What's going on, everybody? We are a family of nerds. Welcome back to our podcast. My name's McFly.
I'm Greg.
Let's go, baby.
We just got finished watching the series finale of Wandavision. I'm going to say that this episode definitely fucked me up, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like this was almost, like you said, Greg, Infinity War Endgame-esque in the amount of action that was going on. So the last 5-10 minutes, I was pretty silent, dude. Like, I was just taking it all in.
I'm not crying. You're crying. What?
Who's cutting onions, bro? Who's cutting onions?
It was heavy, man. It was heavy.
It was very heavy.
I want to talk about some of the outstanding stuff coming from this. For instance, so we got to see the Westview Vision kind of give the memories back to White Vision, right? I'm assuming that that Vision now is going to be the original Vision, just ET sick. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's gonna be what it is? Do you think it's gonna be a different villain? What do you guys think?
Based on what I saw, I really feel like he unlocked his memories that were there, which I didn't think was going to happen originally. So it really does feel like we're basically going to get a version of Vision that we kind of previously had, maybe with like some missing parts in terms of like, he's not going to know. I don't think he's going to know everything that happened inside of Westview. It seems like he's going to get everything before that, and then the fighting, the dialogue that he had with Einstein Vision. I'm just a little bit confused because even as I say that, he just disappeared in the middle of a lot of fighting, and
Vision was like,
impending doom.
And then he's like, this bitch is crazy, and took off, bro. He was like, hell no, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Things were not resolved, and he just zoomed at a screen and disappeared. So I think he's the normal Vision. I also am skeptical even in saying that, just because that doesn't seem like a thing a Vision would do.
The thing I have a question about is, so he gave him his memories back. So it's literally from when he died at Endgame to now. For him now, there's no space there, right? He gave him memories, but did he get his personality back, if that makes sense? I know his memories kind of made him who he was, but at the same time, if that really was Vision, that he wouldn't have ran away like that. He would have tried to help Wanda. So that's kind of where I'm with you, Greg, where it's like, why did he leave? What was his motive for just ditching like that? So I think there's more to be told on that story, but I'm sure we'll find out when. I don't know. I'm hoping we don't have to wait a whole year to figure out, but we probably will.
Maybe he dropped his wallet in Wakanda. He was like, fuck my wallet. He had to go back.
He left his wallet in El Segundo.
Gotta go back. Gotta get it.
What about you, Scope? Do you have any theories, or are you kind of on this in the same boat as us?
So White Vision was originally, he was supposed to just like not have any memories at all, but now all of a sudden he has memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where'd he go? Honestly, maybe to the fucking factory where they built him to destroy some shit. I don't know. I have no idea where the fuck he went. Dude took off hella quick. Maybe he had a shit. I don't know.
I think the missing piece actually is the Mind Stone, right? Because in Age of Ultron, Tony mentions that they needed to create something that could defeat Ultron, and the only thing that could do that would be something like Bruce's, his, and Ultron's mind together with the Mind Stone, and that's essentially what Vision is.
You helped create this?
I've had a vision. A whirlpool that sucks in all hope of life, and at its center is that. It's the Mind Stone. The Avengers cannot defeat Ultron.
Not alone.
Why does your vision sound like Jarvis?
We reconfigured Jarvis's matrix to create something new. I'm not Ultron.
Their powers, the horrors in our heads, Ultron himself, they all came from the Mind Stone, and they're nothing compared to what it can unleash.
So he's missing the Mind Stone part of that. So that's why I think he's acting a little bit different than we would expect him to act, right? Because he doesn't have that part of him. So that's kind of...
Oh, so he got the memories, but then the emotions.
Imagine like somebody gets into a huge car accident and they get like a tiny bit of brain trauma, and they lose some of their memories. They lose some of big memories that make them who they are. I think this is kind of the same thing. Like Vision lost the Mind Stone. He lost part of who he is, literally part of who he is. So he's not 100% himself. I think that's kind of what's going on here. But that's my take on it. As I always say with these things is we could be totally wrong. He could just be Vision trying to cope with his own death and everything that happened. That's a lot of trauma for anybody. So
it wouldn't be the first time that one of the heroes like kind of just dips because they have like some sort of like self-discovery that they need to achieve. Like I forget which movie exactly, but
Tony,
or dips out.
Tony did Thor dips out in like 3 of the movies, I think. But Tony technically did it when he
I got to
like
figure this thing out.
yeah. Tony technically did it when he was trying to like sabotage him or sacrifice himself, right? That was him trying to show that he's a good person. So it was like him battling with himself. So technically that was him ditching the rest of them. He ended up living, of course. They all went through their own trauma, right? They all went through their own issues at some point, some of them multiple times. But people think that, Vision's not really a human, so he can't have those feelings, but that's what he grew into, right? Kind of like we were talking about with Loki, where he started off as evil and he grew into being a good person. Vision went from being an AI to kind of being more humanoid almost. So I think he lost the humanoid part
Yeah,
now,
I
and he
mean,
has to regain that again.
he's in like he and Wanda are in like a relationship. I feel like that's a bit more than AI.
Best sex doll out there.
No, but like so
it it seems a little bit more than
he
that.
was AI, and then as he learned humans, he became more human himself, and that's when he started growing feelings and opinions, and he grew feelings for Wanda. So that's why I'm saying I don't think he necessarily was full on AI by the time Endgame came around. I think he was more humanoid.
Yeah, I
He's
agree.
more
I
like a
think it's
boy.
like the Mind Stone probably helps give him that capacity to be like basically as human as any other character. Talking about like how heavy this show is, or it just
Dude,
got really, really
remember
deep.
when Wanda was explaining to him that he was the Mind Stone part of her? Because she has two
Yeah,
parts. Because she has the witch part, she has like those mutant powers or whatever, right? And then she has the Mind Stone powers. So did the whole Mind Stone out of her, like come out of her to build him?
I don't think it came out of her. I think the power came out of the Mind Stone to build him.
But like, did she drain it all into him to build him? Like, did she have any of it left inside of her?
Of course she does. That's what makes up her
Like,
power.
no, not
I
fully
I
her
I
power because
I,
she's
I
still a witch. She
I
still
get
got.
what you're saying, but I think she has so much power that she could create Vision 10 times over and have no issues. Still have a lot of power left. Like we learned that in this show that she's way, way more powerful than we thought she was, and she even thought she was. She's getting more towards how she is in the comics. Because in the comics she's like world breaking powerful pretty much. Um
She's a fucking badass now.
yeah,
She looks so
so
sexy, Like, oh my god, I can't wait for Halloween, bro.
that's a great segue to the next point, which is we found out in the show through Agatha that she's only limited by the amount of knowledge she has of chaos magic. So that kind of was a big reveal there.
in looking it up, just because I didn't really know anything about the chaos magic and stuff, finding out that there's like a being that where all this chaos magic is kind of like spawning from or starting from. That being kind of like gave a piece of that chaos magic to her, so she's kind of like working with like a fraction of
Right.
what might exist, and yet still like the stuff is so strong. Why they just called it chaos magic? It's like it's working on rules that are not fully understood. So it seems like a limitless source of power. I'm very curious. Like when you have something so strong, I feel like you run into the problems of like what they had with Superman. Where it's like, how do we keep this from just being like shooting nukes at one another? Like, how do you keep it like a normal story when something's so strong? How strong are the villains going to be? What's the purpose of anybody like teaming up with this person if she's so strong? So it's just like, where does the story go?
I think that was kind of Marvel showing that okay, she's gonna be a major player in the next coming phase, right? So I think that's pretty exciting. It's also kind of cool to see that she's essentially stronger than like Doctor Strange now. We saw at the very, very end where she was, chilling, having some coffee, resting her body, but then she's like studying, the chaos magic in the background in the what was it called? I said it with her. I
Astral
said it
form.
in the astral form. Thank you. So like she's learning that too. So now she has like multiple, Avengers powers and stuff. So she's getting to the point where it's like, hopefully she doesn't become a villain, man, because she's gonna be hard to stop. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nah, I don't think so. Because at the end, she showed like sympathy for everybody in the town, and I don't think she's gonna be a villain.
I think they'll do it the same way they did it with WandaVision. If they make her a villain, where it's like
she's like
it's
kind
not
of
like her first choice.
unknowingly doing it
She's
almost.
kind of like Yeah, she's so strong. She's on a
Like, her
path.
emotions got
And there's
messed up.
collateral damage essentially, and then we're witnessing.
Don't
the
let her get her
collateral
period
damage.
again.
That's all that was. That big dust of red was just her period. She had a really bad period.
That's really intense. It's a heavy flow.
Big
So-
red.
Big red. There you go. That's what that meant. We also found out. Well, we didn't find out at the very, very, very end when she's studying the chaos magic. You hear her kids asking for her help. So I'm assuming that they're trapped somewhere, and I'm thinking it's in either a different reality or one of the different realities in the multiverse, right? I'm sure we'll find that out if that's the case in Doctor Strange, and I'm sure it'll be the driving force for her to be in that movie as she's trying to get them out somehow. I'm hoping that's good news. That means that the kids will live on, and maybe, well, no, the division broke apart from there, so we don't know what happened to the kids, but obviously they're still around because she's hearing their voices. So I'm very,
So
very
like a
curious.
Doctor Strange and Wanda.
Vision's kind of like a.
Thor and Hulk.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that essentially.
Oh, okay. It's like the movie isn't really just him.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like
you
a
know?
pairing.
Yeah. So that way then they just get it like as much as they can out of the way.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. My name's McFly. That right there,
I'm Greg.
and that right there.
InHerScope.
Peace out, everybody. Appreciate all of you.
Soon until you hear that you will feel me.